I'm Wade Sankey. This is the Sankey Rodeo Show podcast from the cabin right here on the ranch in Sankey, America. It's not going to get any better than that. You just will go.
I never thought I should have. I've got a lady that started doing a book on me.
Yeah.
And I probably need to just get it and make a copy of it and send it up to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, and let me know how to push it.
I wish, well, it wasn't for that. It's just to
Yeah, but everybody should
talk about it.
Get to hear your story. So what is your story? You grew up in Wyoming, south of Douglas, you said. And I guess we need an introduction here. Dennis George, G-Bar G, stock saddles and Bronc saddles, or is that just Randy?
Well, no, I was original.
Mm-hmm.
So for years it was both.
Yeah.
I started out just basically Bronc saddles.
Yeah.
And then when I come back from Canada, I had to start making some riggins because I still did not have the saddle exactly the way I wanted it. It took 3 years before I actually started selling my first ones.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Germanson was the one that bought one of the first saddles I made.
Yeah.
And he bought, in 1973, he bought 3 Bronc saddles and a bucking machine.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I had the bucking machine there is because at Denver one year, when we lived in Fort Collins, we actually made a bucking machine. And Bob Blackwood came to me in Denver and come up to the room about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and wanted me to talk to this guy about making bucking machines because he wanted to start building them.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat down and drew him a blueprint on those yellow pads, just about 3 pages deep.
Yeah.
And that's where the bucking machines actually started coming from.
So you're basically saying you invented a bucking machine.
No, I didn't invent it. I was there when we made the very first one.
Yeah.
And we used a pump jack off of a windmill.
Mm-hmm.
But the casting was so bad that we soldered on that or brazed on it for probably 2 hours and rode it for 15 minutes before it broke again.
Yeah.
Is there in Fort Collins, Colorado.
Yeah.
And that's where it all originally came from. And the guy in New Mexico wanted to make them, so I kind of helped him get started on those. But my deal was I got to have a new machine anytime I had a school or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I sold some for him. And
yeah. So would that have been the El Toros?
Yep. They had some bucking machines that was made prior to that, just jump and kick.
Yeah.
But nobody had ever made one spin.
Yeah.
And that's basically what I was showing him how to do, is to make it spin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did not invent the bucking machine by any means.
Yeah.
I just kind of explained to him how we did it to make it so it would spin.
Yeah. And then came the El Toros,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't know if those are still in business or not, but
No.
bucking machines sure came a long ways.
The El Toro actually was sold out to that Gillies. And fact is, I helped the Mahan was starting to build one, and your granddad started building one.
Mm-hmm.
And your granddad came to me, and Gillies had put a lawsuit against him and Mahan and me because I'd helped the high school build one.
Mm-hmm.
And so your granddad came to me and said, this is our deal. Do you have any way that we might be able to beat this? And I said, well, I don't know a lot about patents and that, but if we can prove that it was prior to the time that patent was actually put in, if we can show that we built one before.
Yeah.
Just so happened that I remembered there was a kid that worked for the Forest Service that was always out there on that bucking machine, and he was one that always took pictures, lots of pictures. So we went to Fort Collins, your granddad and I went to Fort Collins, and we finally found him, and he went through his pictures, and we found a picture of the bucking machine, and it had a picture of there was a pickup behind it with the license plates on it.
Mm-hmm.
And on the back of the picture, it shows when that was printed.
Yep.
That's how we beat the case.
Really?
Yep. And
So he'd done some private investigation work
he,
too.
he said, your granddad said, thank you. Mahan, the people that was building his bucking machines, also made jacuzzis.
Mm-hmm.
They sent me a brand new jacuzzi, about an 8-man jacuzzi it's still behind my house in Arizona. I don't have a house there anymore. I sold it, but
That's funny.
like I said, I got to do a lot of things in my life.
Absolutely.
I've enjoyed it.
Yep.
I mean, the whole thing is make little goals, and when you reach those, sometimes you don't reach them quite as far as you'd like.
Yep.
But set you another goal. Maybe it's in some other field or some other thought.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what makes life interesting.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've enjoyed my life.
Yep.
I've had hard times and I've had good times.
Mm-hmm. Cancer survivor.
Yep, 12 years.
Yeah.
At one time, they gave me 5% chance.
Mm-hmm.
And I am completely clean.
Yeah.
And I have really pushed to help a lot of people with cancer,
Mm-hmm.
mainly to have good attitude.
Yeah.
If you have a good attitude and your mind is set right, you can beat a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Your mind will help your body heal.
Yeah.
And I believe that.
Yeah, for sure.
I've seen it happen too many times.
Yeah. Yeah, well, your mind doesn't just control your body. It controls all the outcomes of everything around you too.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can take that mind the other way and pretty quick you're dead.
Absolutely. Yep.
And
Yeah, if you decide you're done, you're probably going to be
that's
done.
exactly right. I was really fortunate. I was really down with cancer, and I had reached a point where I had not given up, but I had accepted that I wasn't going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
I was so weak I couldn't lift my arms. I lived in a chair. It's one that's still in my shop.
Yeah.
I lived in that chair for a year. Cody Wright, writer, and Rusty came by and seen me. And Cody brought me a picture, a poster of 6 of his brothers, him and his 5 other brothers, and each one of them had the satellite built them,
Mm-hmm.
held in front of them, and each one of them had wrote up a thank you. And he gave that to me, and that's what really spurred me to really, really make myself come out of that. I won't say a slump, but I fought a lot harder.
Yeah.
And right then is when I started coming out of the problems with cancer.
Yeah. Does Cody
So
know
I
that?
owed. What's that?
Does Cody know that?
Oh yeah. And I thank him.
Yeah.
I'm going to be going to Rusty's wedding, and if him and I sit down, I'm going to take a copy of that and just show him. I don't know if he even seen what Cody gave me.
Mm-hmm.
It was all rolled up in a tube
Yep.
when I got it. And talk about the tears flow when I seen it.
Oh boy.
I mean, it was pretty impressive. And it was in color. I mean, it's one of those things that like it's kind of like my new marriage, it's one of those things that just was meant to be,
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Yeah.
It just wasn't my time.
Yeah.
And I dedicated my life to helping young people
Mm-hmm.
after I come through the cancer. And that's what I've really tried to do.
Yeah.
I've worked a lot with young people around the shop,
Mm-hmm.
trying to, my college rodeo team, half of them work for me out there. And we had a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And they gained a lot of knowledge out of it. But that's what we have to do. We have to reach back and help the ones coming behind us learn what we have learned. Because if we don't do that, it's lost.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what's happened with saddle makers over the years. They were so afraid to let anybody see what they do or understand why they do it or anything else. I tried to learn off old saddle makers. They'd cover their work up. They'd drink coffee with you, drink whiskey with you, beer with you, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't tell you anything.
Yep.
It was a big secret.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no secrets. It may be maybe a place that you get materials. Might be something you do on a certain tree. I just tell anybody and everybody anything they want to hear.
Yeah.
But that's the reason I basically learned on my own
Mm-hmm.
how to build saddles.
Yeah. Well, let's get into that. What is your history growing up in Wyoming? Where did it all start?
I was, of course, my folks lived in town. My dad left the ranch before I was born, and he started hauling cattle. So all through, well, into junior high, he was still hauling cows and everything all over the world,
Mm-hmm.
and all over the United States anyway. And then I had actually he was a cousin. I called him my uncle, but he was really a cousin, my dad's cousin. He had two boys. It was just, one was 1 year older and the other was 2 years older. And I lived out there with them. And when Matt died, then I was kind of left with a place not to go to. And so my dad told me that I needed to keep working ranches, but he wanted me to work for a different ranch every year,
Mm-hmm.
every summer, to learn different ways. And that's basically what I did. And from there, that's when I started trying to rodeo and kind of got involved with that. Of course, then I ended up getting married, and after a short time, it didn't work out. But I got the little girl from my marriage,
Mm-hmm.
and I raised her my life.
You gotta tell the story that you just told at lunch about high school rodeoing.
Oh, not my folks not knowing about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a tough one for some people to grasp onto. But they knew I went down to Kenny Ivester's all the time and roped and she didn't mind me bulldogging steers,
Mm-hmm.
but she didn't know I was doing all the rest of it. But
Didn't find out till you were a junior at the high school finals.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's when some lady called and congratulated her. Of course, she didn't know what she was congratulating. My mom didn't know what she was getting congratulated for until that lady told her.
Yeah.
And then it got pretty heated in my house because I was up that night. But I got to go.
Yeah.
My dad finally jumped in and he worked at a lot of rodeos every year for this Wyoming State Fair.
Mm-hmm.
So he was around rodeo a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny.
But this is just saying my sugar's gotten higher.
Is there something you need?
No, I just shut it off. I had the voice off anyway, but that if it gets above 180,
Mm-hmm.
it does that, or if it gets below 80, I don't worry about the over. It's under.
Good to know.
It's the only time it gets bad. So.
Yeah. So, going back to high school rodeo, and then you were talking about you got married and that didn't work out, and then ended up with your daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I worked in the uranium mine for a little over a year, and
Where's that?
north of Douglas,
Okay.
Burn Marax.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest problem with that is about 4 months into it, he didn't want to pay withholding, so he put me on ranch wages, and because he had a ranch by Pinedale, and for about 4 or 5 months he paid me through the ranch checks. I didn't care; it was still money.
Mm-hmm.
But then the mine inspector found out about it and made him go back to the other way. Well, now when they're trying to help us people that's been in the uranium fields, because I've starting to lose part of my lungs from it. But they can't do much help for me because
weren't on the payroll.
I was off. You have to be on it for over a year.
Yeah.
Well, I was there for over a year, but it doesn't show on my Social Security, and that's what they go off of. So it was kind of a bummer. But I work with a Four Corners there in Riverton, and I've got a lady that comes out once a week and checks on me. Gives me breathing exercises and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It has kind of affected my voice a little bit. But it's kind of...
Sound pretty good to me.
The story there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like I said, I got to do a lot of things. I went from there to a Lusk to running a ranch down there, running a ranch for about 450 head of mother cows by myself, and raised my little girl there. And that's when my wife went to town and kind of drifted away.
That'll do it.
And she became a telephone operator, and she wasn't just operating on the phone. We won't get into that.
Yeah.
But I was able to get her legally and never look back.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
And my daughter, I never spoke bad about my ex-wife. And my wife, Barb, that was mother to my daughter.
Yeah.
And we all had a great life.
Yeah. So how'd you get into saddle making? Well, wait a minute. We need to talk rodeo before saddle making, huh?
Well, I just rodeoed around Wyoming, and then when I went to Colorado to go to barber school, because I had my daughter and my dad felt like I needed to have something to fall back on in case I was ever injured, so I took up barbering rather than bartending, and that's what took me to Fort Collins. Stopped there and got in the saddle shop because I needed some rawhide for my rigging. And that's what got me interested in Salisbury Saddle Company. And that was before they even really started working on any rodeo equipment. And I started coming up there on weekends. And that's where it all kind of started. I was rodeoing on the western slope, riding bucking horses, bareback horses and broncs. And done well, and then I got my permit like everyone else that kind of goes through the ranks. And by the time I actually got my card, I had moved to Arizona by way of Canada for a year and 2 days. Randy Corley and I had a shop up there, but I had went up there for a year, and then we'd renegotiate, and it just wasn't working for me, and I moved to Arizona. And I picked Scottsdale basically for the exclusive name Scottsdale. And I actually found a place in the county down there because Scottsdale didn't even have a place for a saddle maker. So
the town was just too small.
No, Scottsdale, it was too mod.
Oh.
There wasn't... because I wasn't considered the same as a shoe shop, and they had to go through all kinds of things for a shoe shop to even have a place they done repairs. So I found a place in the county, and that's where I spent 2 years, and then I moved to Alpine for 16 years.
Yeah.
And then from there, I went with Major League Rodeo, and from there, I went back to Arizona, and then my sister was moving to Nevada. My folks were getting to the age they needed help. So my sister wanted to know if there's any way she could get me in Wyoming, and she told me about the college needing a rodeo coach, and I had 2 days to get all my paperwork to them, for the interview. I got that done and become the coach and stayed there for 6 years.
So we got to back up to Major League Rodeo. There's people that say today the current tour system in the PRCA, the way it exists now, came from you and your idea.
I don't know if that's true or not. I know I had to go to federal court over my lawsuit against the PRCA because of the right to work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it was. And at that same time, they were trying to, they didn't call it team rodeo. It was, they had like 6 different sponsors that called them outfits rather than teams.
Yeah.
And of course, they didn't have anything exactly like what, how Major League Rodeo was structured. It was just individuals, and their points went to the team, whether they actually won, lost, or whatever. And I think that's how that was set up. And then they kind of got away from that. They tried to bring out, my lawyers brought out that the PRCA was trying to do a team thing. And they said no, that it was not relevant to their case. And the judge said, no, it is very relevant. And that's kind of where that ended up.
So what was your lawsuit? The right to work?
The right to work, period.
Yeah.
Doug Shipe and I were 2 that was with Denver Stars that actually had our cards, and
Which was a team for Major League Rodeo.
Yes.
Which is a competitor to the PRCA.
Well, we weren't trying to compete against them. We were totally, it's a totally separate entity. It's really was set up like Major League football or basketball.
Yeah.
Every player negotiated their contract, what they was paid. Some of them just done it by the year. Some of them done it by points. They got extra money for points.
Yeah.
They got extra money for being on the All-Star. It was owner operated. I was a rodeo coach. At first, I was player coach, and I found out that there's just no way that I could do both. I actually set the livestock, the positions that my players went in. There was 3 from each event, and the rough stock was not head-to-head, but the timed event, except the team roping, was head-to-head, the calf roping and the steer wrestling. And even the barrel racing was done behind barriers. I know I helped design the original setup for running the chutes because it was all done by timing lights, just red, yellow, green, and I had it set up on, designed a deal to where it was run by air, and the chutes were actually opened by air. The barrier was opened by air, and that was all done off of a timing. There was an outfit there in Fort Collins that was able to put all the program together, and it was done. It was computerized.
Yeah.
And the head man had a button in his hand, and when the player in each one of the barriers were ready, he pushed the button, and that started to, and it was all timed that way.
Yeah.
So it brought in head to head, and it was exciting. People loved it. Even in the barrel racing, the barrel racers actually had to be behind the barrier to start. And there was 3 barrels across the front, 2 in the back. The center barrel was, you both had to run right-hand patterns. That was the only exclusive on it.
Yeah.
And I know I worked 3.5 months to do actually come up with a rule book. And it was set up to where, if somebody knocked down that, and they was the first one to that to the right-hand barrel, and they knocked that down, which was actually the center barrel, then they were penalized, and the opposite team was awarded the points for actually winning it.
Yeah.
Because they were not able to compete because the barrel wasn't there.
Yeah.
So there's little things like that that made it pretty interesting. And the fans got to where they knew exactly what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
And we really brought a lot of fans to recognize rodeo as a sport. Because in all those, there were 6 different teams across the United States. And in those towns, like in Denver, every one of my players was well known by name. Mm-hmm. We had them see us on the street and call us by name. We got more press than the PRCA had in a lifetime in the year and a half that we actually participated in Denver.
Yeah. So are you aware of Kid Rock's Rock and Rodeo deal he's doing?
I've heard of him. Yeah, they said he was the one that come up with it. He didn't have a clue.
Who did come up with it?
It was actually a kid out of California, him and his brother. Gosh, I can't think of his name right now, but they were the ones that came up with the idea. They got Bob Blackwood involved in it, and Bob Blackwood is the one that come to me and wanted me to help put it together. I went from the Cow Palace. I flew from there to San Antonio for an exhibition game. And the way the arena was set up at that time, Bob had set it up where there was head-to-head, but there was the calf chute on each end of the arena. They actually run at each other. And I could see that this was not going to work. We went ahead and went that performance that way, and we got by with nobody wrecked. Mm-hmm. But between the afternoon and the night performance, we completely changed that whole arena to where it was side by side, and that's the way it stayed from then on.
Yeah.
I know that some of the guys that was in the PRCA tried later on after Major League Rodeo did not make it. They tried to bring it, the concept back in to where and the PRCA fought them on it. And I was never contacted, so I don't have a clue what really was going on.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I was the one that helped set Major League Rodeo up.
Yeah.
And, I maybe could have suggested some things that may have made it work.
Yeah. Where did the support come from? Because you had different teams from different towns, cities,
we had
right?
6 different teams. L.A., Salt Lake, Denver, Kansas City, San Antonio, and Tulsa. That was the 6.
And that's where the support came
There
from.
was East and West. And the support, we had actually owners, just like Major League Rodeo or Major League Baseball or football or whatever.
Yeah.
There was owners that they're the ones that actually help keep it together.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we had 2 owners that passed away our second year, so we did not finish the season. I think if we would have had better owners, maybe we could have worked everything out with the PRCA. At that time, the PRCA's office was right behind the football field there in Denver, and the Major League Rodeo's office was in the Round Holiday Inn right there by. So I met with a lot of the PRCA head people at that time there at the Holiday Inn. They'd be in there eating lunch or whatever, and I'd go in and sit down and talk with them. Mm-hmm. I tried everything in the world, but I think they were so afraid of what maybe Major League Rodeo would do, and I couldn't convince them enough that we weren't out to do anything different. It was just a different concept, and it was a way that we could bring television in. And we had a lot of television people that really got involved with Major League Rodeo.
Yeah.
President Ford, his son actually team roped for the LA team. And the coach for that was Casey Tibbs.
Really?
So, there was a lot of neat things with Major League Rodeo.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think it brought in a lot of things to rodeo.
Yeah.
And thank God it's still one of the things that's the sponsorship. The way the sponsorship used to be written up, you had to benefit the majority of the cowboys. That's how it was written.
Mm-hmm.
Wrangler would bring a truckload of Wranglers in to Big Rodeo. Show them your card, you got 2 pair of Wranglers. El Paso, show the boot companies, show them your card, you got a pair of boots for $25.
Mm-hmm.
And with my lawsuit, right after my lawsuit, all that changed to where you could now have sponsorship. I have no idea where rodeo would actually be without the sponsorship to Cowboys right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would even still be here.
Yeah. So sponsorship that you're talking about that had to benefit the majority of the Cowboys, was that in the PRCA?
That's exactly it. That was in the PRCA's rule book.
Okay.
That's exactly how it was actually written.
Mm-hmm.
To be a PRCA, and at that time it was RCA,
Yeah.
to be that sponsor, you had to benefit the majority of the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what changed on that is they was able to sponsor individually.
Yeah.
They still had to go before a committee that allowed the sponsorships.
Yeah. Yeah. They have to go through the patch program now.
Right.
And get everything approved. But
And it's a good deal.
mm-hmm.
I think it's great for rodeo. I think it's great for the Cowboys. And it's got to be good for the sponsors.
Yeah.
And it makes people aware of how valuable rodeo actually is to the entertainment field in the actually it's becoming the world, but
Mm-hmm.
Especially United States and Canada.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty interesting stuff.
It is, and it was enjoyable because I was the coach of the very first Major League Rodeo Championship.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a Super Bowl ring. We actually got ours before the Cowboys got theirs that year.
Yeah.
And it was a neat deal. Like Guthrie Packard was the owner for Denver.
Mm-hmm.
And he told us right before the championship game, he said, this one is important because there'll never be another first. We were the first. Unfortunately, we were the only.
Yeah. So who else was involved with all this? You said Casey Tibbs. What other?
Bob Blackwood. Oh, gosh. I can't say their name right now. Unfortunately, that's my chemo coming out.
Mm-hmm.
But some people that were actually some rodeo cowboys that later got their cards and went on to be some world champions.
Yeah.
In the PRCA.
Mm-hmm.
We had a steer wrestler that started with Major League Rodeo, and I know a lot of the rules I wrote were to help combat his knowledge of steer wrestling. And I won't say, so much cheating as it was taking advantage of his knowledge.
Reading the rule book.
And just making things work
mm-hmm.
the way the rules said he could.
Yeah.
And I know I spent a lot of time trying to write those rules to where there's only one way you could read them.
Yeah.
And that's what's wrong with our PRCA right now. There's too much gray area in their rule book.
Mm-hmm.
And I have made the suggestion that they need to find a rodeo cowboy that's retired that knows. And I wouldn't mind trying to help them out, but it'll never happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And rodeo is a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's It's the most outstanding way to be able to see how well livestock is taken care of that's on the rodeo trail in comparison to a lot of places in the backyards.
Yeah.
Stock contractors, I've got my hat off to them. It's not just because you're a stock contractor, but my hat's off to what you have to do to make things work today. And it's really been a pleasure to come up and see your stuff.
Yeah.
And even seeing your stuff in action.
Yeah.
There's nothing I like better than seeing a good bucking horse.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It is.
So on the right to work lawsuit, what happened there? What was the reason for the lawsuit?
Well, because they took my job and kept me from doing anything else in rodeo because they took my PRCA card away. I could go back to an amateur or a non-professional with no problem, but there isn't any money to be made. Mm-hmm. And me as a saddle maker, it really hurt me because I couldn't really advertise. Brad Germanson was my first one. I could not use his name because I didn't want him to be penalized for what the PRCA had against me.
Yeah, so this was after your rodeo career as a contestant.
I had already reached a point where, fact is, I was picking up bucking horses at one of our practice sessions with Major League Rodeo and blew a disc in my back, and so that pretty much ruined my career. But I was at the age already anyway that it was time that I needed to step down and possibly do something else with rodeo.
Yeah. But that's, I guess I just asked that just to, so everybody understands you weren't a sour contestant that was ducking off and going to amateur rodeos and trying to go to pro rodeos. It was a business decision from a saddle making business perspective.
Partially from that, and I just really, I thought the PRCA was the very best organization there was. It just had some rules that I didn't quite agree with. Mm-hmm. And I felt that the only way that a young person could actually get involved with rodeo and be able to afford to go is they either needed to change the rule book to where they could have more than one permit or do away with the permit program or whatever. But the other thing is it stopped any progression with any other degree of rodeo other than the PRCA. Mm-hmm. And I think that limited where rodeo could go.
Because it didn't have a bottom to feed the top.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. And the permit deal you're talking about was that now...
At that time, they went $1,000. They had to buy a card.
Yeah.
And now they've changed that to where, they can keep rodeoing on their permit as long as they want to.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't count towards, anything other than a permit.
Yeah.
Even as a first year, they can go and rodeo. That first year, that's their 1 year that they could run for the rookie of the year. Mm-hmm. But after that, you can't even be the rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Because you're not a rookie anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So
they've changed some rules to where, it's workable now.
Yeah. There is Rocker was in this situation to where he had so much one on his permit that he had to buy his card to make the finals that year.
He just had to buy a card to make the finals because
to be allowed to go.
You can't go to the finals on a permit.
Exactly. And then Keenan Hayes won enough to go to the NFR the first year on his permit, but couldn't go. He qualified. He won enough to go. Hayden Welsh, Bobby Welsh's son, this year, he won enough to go in the bull riding. And I think there was a bull rider that won enough or a Bronc rider that won enough on their permit to qualify for the NFR.
See, and personally, now this is my personal thought, I think they're still with the PRCA, whether it's a permit or it's a full-fledged member.
Yeah, which
I think they should have the opportunity to go to the finals.
I think so too.
When they go to that rodeo, they're actually competing just like if they was a full card holder.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think they're, maybe someday I hate to see it go to court because the only ones that wins are the lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that should be something that would be negotiated out.
Yeah. Well, I think it's definitely an issue now that they need to talk about. I mean, there's three people that I can think of right now that it kept them from going to the NFL.
The Wrights had the same problem.
Yeah. I did not know that.
In order to, they probably would have been able to go to the finals if they'd have had the card a little earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how did the lawsuit turn out? What did it change?
It changed to where you could go to any rodeo.
Yeah.
Period. As far as my deal, I did not enter that as a anything to do with monetary. I tried to work everything out with Sean Davis. We spent 4 hours, and the last words he said to me before our conversation was over is, "What are you going to do when you lose this case?" I called my lawyer and told him to go for the throat. And, that was the most ridiculous thing I think he could have said. I had always admired him for years, but, I really lost faith in him, with that kind of attitude. The PRCA for many, many years actually ruled with an iron fist.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they, that's why they had the blacklist. And now you cannot have a blacklist. That's totally illegal.
What was the blacklist?
If you've done anything to be not according to the rules of the PRCA,
mm-hmm.
you were actually put on the blacklist. That means you couldn't go to a rodeo until you paid your fine.
Mm-hmm. Which they still can do that, can't they?
They can still do that, but they can't call it a blacklist.
Well, yeah. But if you don't pay your fines, you don't get to go play.
Right.
Yeah.
But that was one of the big things that really stopped us, because they levied a big fine on us for going to Major League Rodeo.
Mm-hmm.
And what it did, it cut down our chances of being able to rodeo other than with the PRCA.
Yeah.
Or then drop back to the rodeos that didn't pay as much or whatever.
Yeah.
And some people rodeo for the money, some rodeo for prestige of it, and some of them just for fun.
Yeah.
And that's the reason that they got the circuit permits.
Mm-hmm.
Is those that just kind of do it for fun and want to rodeo locally.
Yeah.
Or in their area.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good thing.
So did the circuit system exist when you were?
No.
Oh, really?
No. Actually, when I first started rodeoing, rodeos, your rough stock scores was actually 200.
No.
Yes. For my first 2 years in rodeo, the scores were 200.
What's your high score?
Well, I was 178 points at the National High School Rodeo on Sunnybrook.
Yeah. Yeah, beat that one, Stetson.
And, I don't know why they changed. They kept saying that it was to have a better chance of spreading out the numbers to where you didn't have so many kind of jammed up. What's the difference whether it's 100 or 200?
Yeah.
They're still the same. I think it was just not enough judges could count that high.
Yeah. Well, I went to Sioux Falls the other day, the Governor's Cup, and they used quarter points. So they got 400 points.
Yeah.
There were still a lot of splits.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's part of rodeo.
Exactly, and it will never change.
No.
Yeah. So the Major League Rodeo deal kind of got over, and then you ended up, well, let's start talking about Brad. You started making Bronc saddles, and you did everything. You make stock saddles, Bronc saddles, bareback riggins.
Well, I started out, the very first year they had the national finals in Las Vegas. I had a booth there.
That 70...
And strictly Bronc saddles.
Was that 85?
I don't remember. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
And anyway, I had Bronc saddles, but I had a Toots Mansfield and a Chuck Shepherd. I went ahead and just built 2 saddles. I thought, because that time there wasn't really any kids went to the national finals. Mm-hmm. It was pretty much adults.
Yeah.
Because it was an adult town.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't too long after that, then the youth started going. Mm-hmm. But the very first year, I didn't think I'd have anybody that would even come into the booth. I had had a booth at the National High School Rodeo since 1973, every year until just about 7 or 8 years ago. So I'd had a lot of booths and helped a lot of young men in the bronc riding especially.
Yeah.
Because that's where I kind of excelled. But I worked in talked to a lot of them on different events. But I enjoyed working with the young people.
Yeah.
And that's why one of the biggest reasons I enjoyed being a rodeo coach with Major League Rodeo is I was able to kind of go in and help some young people. I didn't really look for that prima donna. I took somebody that really wanted to and just had never had the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I did the same thing coaching the college rodeo team.
Yeah. Yeah, and CWC's got a long history of successful rodeo programs, and you kind of started it, didn't you?
Well, I kind of picked up Patty Stolley and her husband had done a little bit beforehand, and they had some good rodeo kids, and I guess I got fairly good recognition because I had most of the time I had 40, 45 kids on the rodeo team. Mm-hmm. We traveled with 25, and we done it in a team atmosphere. We traveled all together. We stayed in the same hotel. Everything we done, we had the timed events coming down, helping the rough stock.
Yeah.
Vice versa. I made it a team thing. And I learned that with Major League Rodeo. The team aspect is so much stronger than individuals because you have everyone helping everyone. And it really brings out the strongest in each individual.
So you do think it's beneficial as far as, what do I say here, performance-wise?
I think so.
Better.
Oh, I think so. It's like any rodeo. You actually work your event stronger at the better rodeos
against better competition.
You've got to go against that tougher competition, because what it does, it brings out that inner self that you have to achieve your very best in order to beat them.
Yeah.
And so what that does is gives you the confidence in yourself to go on.
Yeah. The PBR is doing a team deal now?
I did not know, but I haven't really paid that much attention to it.
Yeah.
I've kind of backed off of rodeo because of the judging.
I can tell.
I just got kind of down on, I thought the judging have stepped back further than we've ever been. Mm-hmm. And it shouldn't be that way, but that's kind of the way it is.
Yeah.
And it's where politics has dealt too much in it.
Yeah. Now let's not go down that rabbit hole.
No.
Yeah.
But that's why I just got to where I guess if I turned the sound off, I could enjoy rodeo again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Between that and screaming announcers. We won't go in that either.
Oh, sure. Let's talk about that.
That's why Randy Corley has always been so popular.
Yeah.
Is because people can enjoy listening to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
We talked about that up there at Billings when they had his induction into the Montana Cowboy Hut of Fame.
Yeah.
Janie and I went to that and got to stand up with him.
Mm-hmm.
He thought I was joking when I said I'm coming to stand up there beside you. I said, I helped you get into this. I said, I'm going to follow it all the way through.
Make sure you don't
And this
screw
is
this
his
last
first
part
year.
up.
This is his first year. He's not going to the national finals.
Yeah.
He's going on vacation. He's going on a cruise.
I'll bet he's thrilled about it.
He is.
Yeah.
They're tickled to death. I'm tickled for him.
Yep.
He said the only regret he has is not being able to go to our wedding
Yeah.
in Vegas.
Yeah. Well, he's not that serious about that, or he just wouldn't go on his cruise.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't ask him to do that.
Yeah. Well, what about saddle making? So we kind of got sidetracked there when you were talking about your first booth and then your Bronc riders. How about this?
Actually, my regular saddle making come out of my first time at the
That's
national finals because I had 2 saddles and a Bronc saddle. And I had an old timer out of Montana come in the booth every day, and he'd set in all 3 of those saddles, all sitting there on the saddle stand. And finally, the last day, I finally broke down. I said, you've been in sitting in those every day. What do you think of those? Just more out of conversation than anything. He said, and he was sitting on that Toots Mansfield, and he said, if this saddle had the swells like the Chuck Shepherd, but had a little bit of an undercut like the Toots Mansfield, and the cantle off that Bronc saddle, I'd buy it. Well, I never thought anything about it. So I got home and I got to thinking about that. So I sat down and designed a tree, sent it down and had it made. That's the tree, and I've made very few changes since then. That's the tree I use today for my ranch saddles.
Yeah.
And it's really the most sought after. I have built probably right at 3,000 stock saddles with that exact tree in it. I've built over 6,000 saddles in my lifetime.
Jeez.
And they're and that's not counting riggins. That's not counting the saddles that are rebuilt. Because I've worked on a lot.
Yeah.
And I've been really fortunate to have a lot of professionals drive a long ways out of their way to bring their saddle to me to where I can redo their Bronc saddle to make it work for them.
Yeah.
And that, to me, was about as big a pat on the back as you can get when they had that much respect for me.
Yeah.
But it's paid off. I was serious about rodeo cowboys. When they come to me, I didn't care if it was the middle of the night. I got up and we worked until we got it fixed. And they were on their way.
Yeah.
It's dedication that my folks basically taught me years and years before. It's the respect you get from the respect you give.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, 6,000 saddles. That's a lot of saddles.
Yes, it is. And I finally got some good equipment, and that come out of that lawsuit. We don't have to say that either, but that rodeo was rodeo money, and I invested it right back into it. Fact is, that next year, I come out with a Bronc saddle catalog that actually went through and described exactly how you set your binds and quarter binds up, how you can set your saddle up to make it work.
Yeah.
In fact, Lyle used that same book for years and years. He may still be using it. I give him authorization to do whatever he wants to with it. I actually sent one to every male name in the High School Rodeo Association. Kenny Ivester actually sent me a printout of all the names, and every male name got a Bronc saddle catalog. My mailing for that one run, just the mail, the postage itself was $15,000.
Oh my gosh.
And probably 4 times that to have those catalogs printed. But it almost tripled the number of bronc riders across the United States and Canada in the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
You've seen right at that time a great big influx. And I think because it was written so the parents could read it
Yeah.
and have confidence, because a lot of mothers and dads was afraid of bronc riders getting hung up.
Mm-hmm.
And there's ways to alleviate that. You don't take it completely away, but you can do some things. And if you do it mentally, you actually do it automatically because your subconscious allows you to roll over and get your hands down. Mm-hmm. And that keeps your foot out of that, helps roll that foot out of the stirrup.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, but that's why I enjoyed actually building saddles, is when I started making them. And I went down to Florida and spent 2 months down there at 2 different times. Or I went down there for a month each time, but I went down and rode with them because they were so much different than Wyoming. But I found out after I was down there, it wasn't a whole lot different.
Yeah.
You know, their dogs, they used their dogs to slow them down rather than push them.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they had to ride through a lot of swamps and things like that.
Yeah.
But cowboys cowboying.
Yeah.
You know, you got to know livestock and you've got to be able to ride and use a little common sense with it.
Yeah. And everybody's got their own technique.
Yeah. If
it's here, if it's across the street.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it may fit with the type of cattle they run. It may fit with, you know, how they cowboy, what climate it is or what areas is or how much money they have to spend, or, you know, there's a lot of factors.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So where's G-Bar G now? You're not still building Bronc saddles?
No, I passed the Bronc saddles to Randy a few years ago when he was actually in Minnesota. And I made sure that he was set up, you know, with everything he needed to go ahead and pick up the Bronc saddle business and run with it. And he's done a fairly good job with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, guys are still riding them in the top 15.
Yeah.
What's your metric?
All of the Wright brothers, that's basically is all they'd ever used. And I still build their stock saddles, their ranch saddles.
Yeah.
You know, that's the most fantastic family. You know, from grandma and grandpa right on down through.
Yeah.
And, you know, the whole group of them are so humble. And they're just down-to-earth people. Fantastic family.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've never heard any of them complain. Not one
Nope.
of them, ever.
Nope, never.
Yeah.
Some of them talk a little more than others, but...
Oh, boy.
Some of them you kind of have to pry it out of them, and others you can't hardly... Yeah. Once they start, some of them you couldn't shut off. Mm-hmm. But they're funny. They're fun to be around. I've enjoyed that family.
Yeah. Yeah. So, do you have any clue how many world titles have been won in G-Bar G Bronc saddles?
Oh. Well, all of Brad Germanson's. And, gosh, there's been a lot of them rode them. Some of them may not have rode them when they actually won the world, but they actually was brought up through with G-Bar G saddles. Ty Murray rode one. Fact is, the last year he rode one of my saddles, I called and talked to him and told him that I thought his bar was cracked front to back because one of Brad Germanson's saddles did that. And it would pop that one swell away from him. And that was the year he was bucking off of the same direction every time. And I actually built him a new saddle that I could never get back with him because I was going to put it on an airline and send it out to him, but we never did. So we kind of lost track there.
Mm-hmm.
But I really can't tell you. Bronc riders have been always famous for switching saddles.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when I was building Bronc saddles, it was always the Bronc saddle's fault.
Mm-hmm.
I never wanted to build barrel saddles because I thought that would be the worst thing I could ever do. I thought it's been the most fantastic thing I've ever done because barrel racers, it's either the horse's fault or it's the ground's fault. So I've got a total reprieve. And besides that, barrel racers, if they've got one horse, they got to have one saddle. If they got two horses, they got to have two.
Mm-hmm.
If they've got three horses, they got to have three saddles.
Yeah.
And if they run out of money, they find another sugar daddy. That's probably not one to air either.
You know what? According to the analytics on YouTube, there's no barrel racers that are ever going to watch this, so you should be fine.
Oh, shoot. I've really enjoyed. I've had problems with two barrel racers. I just sent their money back. Everything was good.
Mm-hmm.
I've had so much fun working with barrel racers. It's not funny.
Yeah.
I know I work a lot with Jane Melby's Rodeo barrel racing schools, and I've really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I've kind of missed that since last year. She's worked a lot with horses and going to fraternities and that. So we didn't have that many actual barrel schools. So. But I went to a lot of bronc riding schools and that. I just enjoy working with young people.
Yeah.
It's really enjoyable to see how well they pick it up and how much they love it and will go on from there.
Yeah.
I helped a lot of kids in the National High School Rodeo get started, and now I get to see them. A lot of them have been to the national finals, and it's fun to be able to think that maybe I sparked a little something inside them years and years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, helped them somehow, somewhere.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's not like you need the business, but how do people buy saddles from you?
It's like anything else. Sometimes you have to educate them before you can sell them.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing what they need and what to maybe suggest that would help them. And I don't cut down anybody's saddles. I will tell them what I think may be a problem with them. And I've actually helped them fit saddles and told them exactly what I felt was wrong with them. And I showed them what I felt was right about my saddles. But mainly I wanted them to learn how to test a saddle to see if it did fit.
Yeah.
And that's part of the educational part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the thing I've always appreciated about saddle makers is you can talk to 11 of them and get 11 different opinions, and most of those
what you have to do is take the one that works best for you.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
I have learned as much off of people that work for me as probably I've ever taught.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not afraid to try new ideas.
Yeah.
I know my son keeps saying, well, you didn't used to do it that way. Well, a lot of times I didn't. I just found a better way.
Mm-hmm.
Or a way that actually worked better at the time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, which is kind of the, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's kind of the exciting part about building saddles or being a craftsman. Is figuring out a better way to do it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well,
you know, the time it takes to make a saddle, on the average, it takes about 25 to 35 working hours, and then you've got your stamping on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes over 3 to 4 weeks in time because everything that you do on them is wet.
Yeah.
So you have to put that part on and actually make it fit.
Mm-hmm.
Because leather is oak bark tanned and it's water soluble to where it softens up to where you can shape it, stretch it if there's any stretch in that piece of leather. Every part of the hide is different, which way it stretches or if it stretches at all.
Yeah.
And then you have to let that dry before you can go to the next piece. So we try to do between 3 and 5 saddles at a time, just because of that drying time.
Yeah. Yeah, so 25 to 30 hours if you're proficient at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you kind of know what to expect, how to do it right.
I don't know how the old time saddle makers could make any money doing one saddle at a time.
Mm-hmm.
They shot the breeze with a lot of people walking in.
Yep.
And luckily, I've had my shops out and away to where we didn't have many people. But when they came, I could stop everything and give them all the time they wanted.
Yeah.
And it's been beneficial to both of us.
Yeah.
That way.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to beat drinking coffee in a saddle shop.
Well, I don't even have a coffee pot in my saddle shop.
You are a hermit.
Yeah. No beer in the ice box.
Yeah, just slave labor.
Stave. You must have been talking to the ones that work for me. Actually, I try to keep everything in my shop family.
Mm-hmm.
They may not be relatives, but it's all family.
Yeah.
And we try to work it that way, and everybody has a good time. You know, if we want to take a break, we just take a break. But when we work, we work.
Mm-hmm.
And my thought is you need to enjoy what you're doing. And I think you'll do a better job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like my wife always served us all lunch.
Mm-hmm.
We went in and we sat down and ate together and visited. Most of the time, we didn't even talk about saddles. We just enjoyed each other. And that was one of the things that really kept our family shop together,
Mm-hmm.
I think. Just little things like that makes it enjoyable.
Yeah.
You know, I've got one of the few saddle shops. We got carpet on the floor. We got TV. We got heating and air conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of light. You know, there's not much you have left to ask for.
Yeah. Space. You have
I've
more
got
space
lots of-
than anybody else has.
I've got lots of room in there.
Yeah.
And in a way, it's good because it allows me to be able to walk around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you stay in one place pretty quick, you're physically down.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 81 years old, and I feel just as spry working in that shop today as I did 25 years ago.
Yeah.
But and it's enjoyable. I love what I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's obvious. I mean, it's absolutely apparent.
And I'm just grateful for rodeo because I think rodeo is what really kept me in the business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I like the rodeo people. There's not anything any better than cowboys or cowgirls. You know, they've got a lot on the ball.
Yeah.
Most of them has got some pretty good common sense. They're not afraid to work. And they're friends as friends. They're not friends for convenience.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one nice thing about cowboys.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of like
As a whole.
Kind
You
of
know,
like
we're going to have the oddball out that, you know, I hate to even admit that they put a hat on, but that happens.
yeah.
It's life.
Yeah. But just like Cody bringing you that picture,
No,
didn't have to do that.
no, he didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't know how much he'd done for me that day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, anything else you want to discuss?
Should have been all airing this whole thing. You'll forget all these questions, and I'll forget all the answers.
That's fine. We can do it again.
Yeah, I might be able to find your place the second time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Well, it's been enjoyable, and you got kind of a unique little place here.
Yeah, I got to maybe get rid of the flies somehow. It's got to get colder here.
It's unique.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. Well, thanks, Dennis.
You done?
We're done.